So why the drama and dream scenario have the same problem? I'll argue that both films by the same director have the same problem, which is great ideas wasted with stupid characters. Stupid may sound a little harsh, and if you prefer we can say childish. I'll argue that both films have quite childish characters and a quite infantile or immature way of unraveling their own premises. Both films have great, amazing premises, but both of them, for me at least, fall short. That's a problem with great ideas. Great ideas are dangerous because you have to keep up with them. You have to... As a writer, I prefer working with small ideas because when you work with great things, when you talk about great things, great ideas, great events, then you have to... It's big. Both movies work with big, interesting, profound premises. And for me, both of them fall into the same trap of working with immature, childish characters. Let me explain what I mean by childish, because those are just words. And as I explained in my video about identification, the difference between identification and empathy, go watch that video. In that video, I talk about how those words are overused words so we can understand different things. I think when we communicate, both in criticism, when we make criticism, or when we write, or when we talk in daily life, we always or frequently fall into the trap of thinking that the other person understands the same thing because you are using the same concept. But concepts are empty vessels, and we have to be clear about what we're talking about when we use words, especially words, strong words, as empathy or childishness or maturity. What I mean when I talk about characters in these two movies being childish is that they overreact, and they don't realize they are overreacting. They have no room, no inner space, no space in their psyche to notice that they are reacting. For me, at least, a mature human being is not one that doesn't react at all. That's avoidance, not maturity. We are humans and we get triggered by situations, events, words, actions, attitudes, behaviors. We get triggered, and reacting is not a bad thing. The question is whether we notice or not when we are reacting. Reacting means responding to a new situation with an old script. Does it make sense? Reacting means defending yourself against a new situation based upon your previous understanding of how you can behave in life so you survive, basically. That's what I mean by reacting. Reacting is responding, but not paying attention to the newness of the new situation, the specificity, the singularity of the new situation, but responding based on your old scripts and maps of life. The things you learned probably when you were petite to survive. Okay? So I think in these two movies, characters react to these new and very different and very crazy situations in an immature way. Meaning they don't realize they are reacting. Probably they do at some point, but the movies don't, or the movies don't follow that path. They go the easy way, for me, which is stretching the reaction. Both films are like a stretch of the first reaction. The drama's premise is amazing. It's this couple, Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. They're about to get married, and a few days before the wedding, they are having this wine test kind of thing with two friends, and one of the friends, I don't remember why, but she starts talking about the bad things they did when they were younger. So they start playing this game where each one of them tells the worst thing they did in their life. So the last one is Zendaya, and she, spoiler alert, she tells them that when she was a teenager, she planned a mass shooting at her school. She even got a gun, his father's rifle, I think, and went with the gun to school, but finally didn't do it.
I'm gonna order an Uber.
Emma, what the fuck?
They all freak out. And the movie, in a way, is kind of the stretching of her boyfriend Pattinson's reaction. And for me, the movie gets stuck. I mean, the premise is amazing. What do you do when you find out the person you thought you knew well, deeply, the person you are about to get married with? What happens when you find out she or he did something or thinks about something that is totally alien to you? That's for me an amazing premise. I mean, in general, in life, I'm very interested in this motive, not only in fiction, but also in real life. This motive, these situations in life when we see something about the other that, like an unknown face, like an unknown side of the other, especially if it's another person that we think we know, that it's a close one, a dear one. Especially with those, for me, that's a very beautiful moment. It's a difficult and painful moment, but it's also beautiful because it shows us that we know nothing about life. And it's like life pushing us to surrender the maps, at least for a bit, or at least understand that our maps were too simplistic for the complexity of what we are as human beings. Great movies start with that premise, like Force Majeure by Ruben Östlund, about this couple in the Alps and the avalanche. Amazing movie. It goes really deep with it. I can talk about it in another video. It's one of my favorite movies. You Hurt My Feelings, another one of my favorite movies of all times. You Hurt My Feelings by Nicole Holofcener. It's not such a well-known film. I don't know, it's a pretty unknown film, but I think it's amazing. Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character finds out something about her husband. A small thing, beautiful movie. I think the drama falls short with that premise. It gets stuck in the coolness of the comedy. I wonder sometimes when comedy is used, this is a question that I'm very interested about. Whether comedy is used to go deep or to shield ourselves against depth. I mean, it's not that all movies have to go deep, and depth meaning a specific thing. I don't know. I love comedy. But sometimes I sense, and I may be wrong, this may be subjective, but I sense that comedy is used in a way that it prevents us from really getting into the thing. And again, it's not that all films must be super deep, but if you have such a deep premise, then what do you do with that? So I think the drama falls short and gets stuck in the childishness of these overreactive characters. I mean, the friend, Rachel, I think it's the name of the character, Zendaya's friend, she's kind of her best friend, and she really freaks out. And the movie explains why. Okay, she has this cousin that got hurt and paralyzed and now lives in a wheelchair because she was at this massive mass shooting years ago. So okay, she has a reason to react this way, but is that it? And then the wedding where everything goes wrong, and I don't know, I feel like they cannot get past that childish overreactiveness. And let me go to the other movie so I can go deeper comparing both of them. The other movie, Dream Scenario, a lot of people that know him and people that don't know him, start dreaming with him, with the character played by Nicolas Cage. The premise is amazing, and the first 10 minutes of the movie I was like, what? What's going on? This is amazing, this is beautiful. And the way it's shot, the takes, the pace, the rhythm, the dreams. I said, whoa, great 10 minutes. But then, same thing, a great idea that gets trapped by childishness or say stupidity. I think, well, first, Nicolas Cage character. Same as Robert Pattinson's, great acting, great performance, both of them. I was like, whoa, great acting. But the thing is, both characters and both performances find a limit and get stuck in the ideas of the director and the script that make those characters really silly and childish. Again, this is the word. I'm gonna use that word a lot in the video.
So I'm finally cool, huh?
I didn't say that.
You hear that, Janet? She's saying I'm a cool dad. Oh, yeah.
Nicolas Cage character, it's kind of a dumb guy. He's kind of a loser, and it's kind of the stereotype of the loser. And he lets people abuse him and do things he doesn't want, and as if he couldn't set boundaries or recognize boundaries. And I mean, we do that. We fail at setting or recognizing boundaries, but he's too silly for me. And the way in which everybody reacts, I mean, the situation is great. It's like a collective psychic event where a lot of people in the world, in the whole world, are dreaming with this guy. First, they dream that they are in danger, and this guy, Nicolas Cage, walks by and does nothing, doesn't help people. I mean, the movie talks about recognition, society, him wanting to be recognized, acknowledged. He wants to write, but he doesn't write. So he starts to gain recognition, but because he just appears in people's dreams, so it's not that he's doing something or winning the merits to get this recognition. He's just randomly appearing in people's dreams. And then many people start dreaming that he violently kills them, and they all freak out as if they got traumatized by those nightmares, to the point that almost all of his students run away from class. They don't want to stay in the room, they don't want to go to class anymore, they cancel him. Even his wife and daughters and friends cancel him. So the movie talks about cancel culture explicitly. And I mean, I did this exercise where I pictured myself in that situation of being a student and dreaming about my teacher violently killing me. And I asked myself, would I be that terrified to go to class later? Would I be that traumatized by a nightmare? It's just a nightmare. My answer was no, I wouldn't. I would still be able to go to class if I dreamt with my teacher violently killing me. So I answered myself, okay, we can argue that the movie is not taking the path of a realistic approach. It's not a realistic approach. It doesn't have to be realistic. And I agree, that's fine. I'm not all for realism and that's it. I mean, great if a movie doesn't stand or take side for realism or chooses not to go down that path. Great, so people doesn't have to react in a realistic way. They can overreact, they can be childish. Okay, But then we should ask why or what for. And my answer there is because the movie wants to make a point. And that's where I get, that's the point I want to make, that these two movies are built to create conversation. And that's fine, but it's about ideas. It's film, it's fiction understood as a way, as a medium to talk about things. So the body of fiction as a vibrant and complex, mysterious thing, poetic thing, gets, I don't know if paralyzed or flattened by the intellect of the smart screenwriter or director. So great ideas, great departure ideas, wasted in stupid characters that reveal that in the end, these movies, these fictions, these stories are just a way to make a point and create controversial conversation.
I don't want to be controversial.
I mean, there are moments where Pattinson's character, or maybe both of them, but mostly him, because the movie is mostly about him, his dilemma, and he's trying to process that new information about his future wife. So there are some points in the movie when we see Pattinson trying to figure out the depth of what's going on, but I think what he's actually doing is reacting to his own reaction. So he's not noticing, oh, I'm reacting, and it's okay because it's a strong, powerful thing that's going on. It's a huge piece of information that I'm finding out, and it's okay that I react. But no, I think he's just reacting to his reaction and both trying to cover it, like hide it and play cool, that like nothing's happening, or justify and explain her past so everybody's okay with her. So I don't think he's actually having space and room to observe what's really going on, the depth and the complexity of the situation. Same as Nicolas Cage character. He's just overwhelmed, reacting to others' reactions without real agency to reflect and go deep in this amazing human and complex experiences they are both living. So overreaction means exaggeration. Yes. Why? Well, the argument is the movies are not trying to be realistic. Okay, so what happens? Well, they're trying to make a point, create conversation. And that makes me sad because I don't think fiction's real goal is to create conversation about themes or subjects. That's an essay. Fiction is not an essay. Fiction is not an argument. I mean, of course, ideas are part of fiction. I love it when ideas are part of fiction. But when ideas overimpose or take over fiction, when intellect takes over the body, the complexity of the body and the vibrant, mysterious body of fiction and human life, when the intellect takes over, I think we lose a lot of poetic possibilities for depth. And that's my point. That's the point I want to make here. So thanks for listening. I just make it clear that I watched both films only once. Maybe if I rewatch them, I'll find out some other things. Maybe I'm oversimplifying things. Maybe I'm also being overreactive with my reactions to the movies. I'm just trying to make sense of what I felt, because I got really excited with both beginnings, with both movies, premises. I said, whoa, this is something. And then I got really disappointed with both. So I wanted to like see what was there for me to send, to perceive, to understand, to read, and to give you as ideas to talk about and to reflect on the power of fiction and what we do when our intellect takes over. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you watch the movies, let me know what you think about these ideas I'm sharing with you. Leave a like, follow, and share as always. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for listening.